Hello. In this video, we'll be going over IRS Form 8554, Application for Renewal of Enrollment to Practice Before the Internal Revenue Service. So this is a form that enrolled agents would need to complete every 3 years to renew their enrollment as a tax practitioner. So I recently had to complete this. I did it online through the IRS website, but you can also file the paper form 8554 and accomplish the same renewal. So we're going to go through all three parts of it. First, I'm going to cover the important things that the IRS wants you to know. So right at the top of the form, all enrolled agents must have an active preparer tax identification number. And so you would renew that every year by completing Form W12. We'll put links in the show notes to resources we've created about forms and any forms and topics that are relevant here. So you would need to make sure that you have an active PTIN. During that 3-year enrollment cycle, you have to complete at least 72 hours of continuing education credit. So the IRS website has a chart of CE requirements for new enrollees to include partial CE requirements for your first renewal cycle. So if this is your first renewal, you have to complete 2 hours of continuing education for each month that you were enrolled, including 2 hours of ethics each year. So all the CE hours have to be federal tax related, and they have to be courses or hours provided by an IRS approved continuing education provider. You also have to pay a renewal fee of $140. And so you can file and pay at pay.gov, and this is a non-refundable fee. It applies regardless of your enrollment status. So we're going to go over the three parts. Part 1 is the enrollment status. Part 2 is identifying information. Part 3 is the signature. So we're going to go through this just the way that I did, basically. So I put in 2 hours of ethics every year, so a total of 6 hours of ethics, and then I went through my curriculum, and I think I had something like that. So when I add up all the hours, let's see, that's 44. It looks like 72. So you're supposed to have 72 hours every 3 years. Now, so a couple things, we did skip the first couple of lines. So most people are going to request approval for enrolled agent status. So that's the default that you would select, unless you want to be placed into inactive retirement status. So inactive retirement means that you don't have to maintain your CEs. You do have to pay the renewal fee, and I do believe that you still have to maintain your PTIN, but you don't have to maintain your CEs unless you want to renew or revert back from inactive retirement to active. At that point, you have to also demonstrate that you've kept up your CEs in order to be placed in an active status. Now, you're not eligible to be placed into inactive status if you're under suspension or disbarment. So that's one of the first things that the Internal Revenue Manual actually tells IRS employees to look at, is to make sure that they're not, anyone that requests inactive retirement is actually not on the suspend or disbarment list. So you can check either one of those depending on what your preference is, and then check if you've passed the special enrollment examination since the last renewal. So as you're aware, the SEE is the 3 exam series that you need to pass in order to become an enrolled agent. So if you've taken that and passed it again, you only need to take 16 hours during the most recent enrollment cycle. All right, so now part 2, we're going to get into identifying information. So we'll do this as if I'm completing this. If you do not have your SSN, please check the box. Let's see. Your enrollment number, so not your PTIN. So we're just gonna. My enrollment number is obviously not this. I forgot what it is. I referred to it for the first time the other day when I did my renewal application, but I don't have it committed to memory. My name. You can check if this is a new address. And you're just completing your address and information. So if you have a CAF number would be assigned if you have been designated as a power of attorney on behalf of a client. And so when you complete the Form 2848, the IRS will assign a CAF number, and you can enter as many CAF numbers as you've been assigned. You would enter the CAF number that pertains to you and your client. And then if you have an EIN, you can enter that. So you're putting your business information if it applies to your enrolled agent status. And then the rest of this, a series of yes/no questions. So are you current with your individual and business taxes? If not, you have to provide a written explanation. In fact, if you answer yes to 8, 9, 10, or 11, you have to provide a written explanation. So these would be the dummy questions. Have you ever been sanctioned by a federal or state licensing authority? Has any application you've ever filed with a court, government department, commission, or agency for admission to practice been denied? Have you ever been convicted of a tax crime or any felony? Have you been permanently enjoined from preparing returns or representing others before the IRS? So those should be no. Now, you're going to be asked if you're a CPA or an attorney, mainly because if you are, then they're going to check with your Board of Accountancy or your state bar association. And then part 3, you're going to sign using your PTIN. So, well, except for some reason it's not. Oh. And then you would sign in the space provided, sign and date. There are additional instructions in the back. This is the most recent version of the form. So obviously anyone that's completing this form would not be worried about an enrollment cycle that begins in 2019, seeing that the time that we're recording this, we're in the year 2026. Now you can send this form to the address listed here. The IRS will process the form. I got a letter. It was called a letter 5507. Meaning that the IRS changed my enrolled agent status to inactive, mainly because, so the enrollment cycle ends on the 31st of March of whatever year, as indicated right here. And I received a letter dated April 9th, 2026, saying that my status was inactive. Now, when I logged into my website, into my account, I could still see that my PTIN was active, and it actually had me listed as an active enrolled agent. I did all of this. I actually submitted it through the IRS website. So when I received this letter, it was dated the 9th of April, but I really received it somewhere around I believe it was the 24th. And so I completed everything online, and as of the 29th, I got an email saying that my status has been reverted back to active. So for those of you who are inclined to do this electronically because it is faster, it is much faster than the 90 days that it would take to process an application. My application took about 5 days to renew when I submitted it online. But if you do file the paper form and you mail it to Franklin, Tennessee, it may take the full time. It does say the average time to complete this form is 30 minutes. Obviously, we have not spent 30 minutes on this form, and it's pretty straightforward. So you can either complete the paper form, mail it in, or you can sign into your IRS account. Tax professionals should have an IRS account through the IRS website. And then from there, you'll be able to complete the form 8554, submit the renewal fee, and maintain your status. So if you have any questions, please hit me up in the comment section. So I'll take a break right now, and I'll just say we try to do our best to publish articles and corresponding YouTube videos on relevant tax forms. So if you like our YouTube videos, please subscribe to our channel. If you like our tax articles, please subscribe to our newsletter. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, or if there's another topic that you'd like to see in an upcoming video, please hit me up in the comment section. Thank you very much and have a great day.